Hello, everybody. It's Zane Miller. Welcome to yet another episode of the Five Stars of Marketing. We are joined by David, Justin, and Lem. Bill, we're guessing, is in a car somewhere, probably just driving around doing what Bill does. So he'll be joining us shortly. We're a little bit late, but we know that a lot of you are also latecomers as well. So we're just kind of warming up and chatting it. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to turn on your microphones, especially if you have another window playing the Hangout. Okay. So let's go ahead and say hi. Let's go ahead and start with David. David, why don't you go ahead and say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about your week.
Hey everyone, David Schloss here. Last week was quite adventurous in terms of paid traffic testing. I've gotten myself into it's like I'm playing a game with ads right now. It's like, what network can I find? What can I test now? Is there someone that I can just give some free traffic to go, hey, by the way, I just tested some stuff out. Let me know if it works. I've done that for people, and like, hey man, I had a great weekend. I had like 100 people subscribed to my list, and I'm like, yeah, were you running any ads? No. Yeah, you're welcome. I was running a test with one of your videos. Oh, that's awesome. So I've been doing some interesting tests behind the scenes, which I'll talk about more later. But yeah, just been testing things out, seeing what's working, and just having fun with it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, next we have Lem. Lem, why don't you say hi and let us know how your week's been?
Hi. Had a great week. No, week has been awesome. Been working on some pre-rolls myself. I've shot a few in a group, getting lots of responses from people, and that's what's going on with me. I'm just trying to take something to a different level and having fun with it. That's all.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, and last we have Justin. Justin, why don't you say hi? Let us know how your week's been.
How's it going, everyone? Week's been all right. I've actually just been last week worked a lot with Zane getting our new course kind of off the ground, that thing going, and now I'm just kind of I took the whole weekend off, just relaxed. Finally, it's been way too long since I've taken the whole weekend off. I still worked a little bit, but um, you know that was nice. So kind of getting a slow start to my Monday. Honestly, I found that whenever I take the weekend off, Mondays always drag. So.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. Maybe Bill is suffering from the same thing. He probably had also a very slow, lazy weekend. I also did as well. I just, I don't know, I binged watched a couple of seasons of some shows on Netflix. Just did a whole bunch of nothing. Um, but now here we are, and we were actually talking about a couple of different ideas. And one thing that is tried and true and always is in style is organic traffic, especially organic traffic using video. And I think we were talking also, like, do we want to talk about like everything organic, or do we want to like chop it up into like online versus offline? Any thoughts? Because that's the topic. Organic traffic, free-ish traffic, because you still got to do the work, right? David, what do you think?
I'm sure everyone, not everyone, but I'm sure a lot of people will want to keep it strictly online, since the majority of our audience just wants to set up everything from home and walk away. At least that's what I'm sure they think about with organic is set it and forget it, and then traffic just comes pouring in. So if we're going to stay along those lines, then we should just keep it online.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you can easily, once you get a video up and get that organic traffic, I don't think it really matters that much if it is for an online business or an offline business. Really, um, you know, you're still getting that traffic, and that's ultimately the point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Google looks at it as two separate things, local versus organic. I think it's all based on search volume and demand and stuff like that, right? Like, there aren't as many people searching for Salt Lake City dentist as they are searching for dentist because
Hmm.
not everybody's in Salt Lake City. So am I off? Agree? Disagree?
I
That's a
agree.
great question. Yeah, I mean, hey.
I think that's an answer.
Well, he's asking. He doesn't think if people are actually looking for, local or does it matter. So I'm thinking, hey,
Well
I
said.
think. I mean, for those of us that do offline stuff, I'm sure we'll want to hear about organic traffic locally, though it's very few and far between as to whether or not it's enough traffic. If I was just trying to rank for dentists, that's a whole different question. But what would be my purpose behind that? That would be a whole different conversation. It's like, why would I want to rank for just dentists? I could think of tons of ways.
It's a dentist.
Right.
No, I hear what you're saying. So as far as ranking with video organically, right? What are some of the ways that you've gone the same way and ranked organically? Let's go ahead and let's start with Lem. His mic's unmuted.
oh, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
What are you doing to rank organically right now?
I haven't ranked organically for any specific search term. There was a ClickBank product that I actually dominated for a while, and of course, that vendor decided to cancel its thing. I guess they start taking it to a different country, but that's about all I haven't done that in a while organically for anything, just locally for me.
All right. Justin, David, either of you?
Yeah, for sure. I'll jump in. Well, recently, I mean, we weren't necessarily going for, I don't know, we weren't putting a heavy amount of effort into getting the videos to rank, but with this recent campaign that Zane and I ran a little while back, an ad campaign that combined, a few different things as well, we were posting a lot of videos, and those were showing up in the search engines just because we were running ads to them. They were getting a bunch of views, and they were optimized correctly. They just basically had the right terms, tags, and everything was set up in the right way. So we were just getting that organic traffic in addition to those paid ads. So whenever really I'm ranking a video, it's mostly because I'm running ads to it, honestly. It's just kind of a side effect once you set everything up the right way and have it, like I said, set up the right way. Your video has a lot higher chance of ranking without you really doing much.
Right, and I've also noticed that a lot of my other videos will start ranking higher organically thanks to paid traffic as well. Have you noticed that, Justin?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, and it looks like we're also being joined by Bill. He's I don't know if he's quite here just yet, but he has joined us. Maybe he has some insight. Oh,
hi guys.
What's up, Bill?
What's up?
We've got Bill on travel cam right now.
Right, running around.
It's actually cooking cam. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, it's the cook cam. All right. We're talking about cooking up organic traffic. So that's where we're at. Maybe we'll come back around.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So this topic of organic traffic that came up. Justin, can you give us a little bit more insight on some of those, like the question that was posed to us?
Yeah, it was. Let me pull that back up. It was a pretty broad question. Basically, it just asked about if we could talk a little bit about marketing through ranking videos, and then also, yeah, I mean that was pretty much the question. Just how we could, like, different ways to market using video SEO, which ultimately I would think is about getting that traffic and getting the eyes on your offer, or ultimately driving that traffic somewhere. So because ultimately it comes down to getting that traffic really,
Right.
and converting the traffic with you can get as much traffic as you want if you can pay for it. So it's not it's more about having a solid offer.
Right. Yeah. I think to that end, there's really not as much. if you want to have a business of just ranking videos, it always comes down to the user experience, from what I have found. You need to find out what it is that your client is searching for, or if you're doing this for a client, you're always figuring out what the client's client is searching for, the end user. And you always want to think about what's going on in their head and figuring out what they want to see in relation to the topic that they're searching for, right? Like if someone, we brought up the example just a little while ago about people searching for dentist or Salt Lake City dentist. David said there, you can he as a marketer, he can think of a lot of different reasons to want to be found for dentist, but the average person doesn't search for just dentist. They search for some specifics. But as far as the differences between the two, one's obviously searching for something in Salt Lake. One is searching for something much more generic, right? It could go with anything. So somebody who's searching for Salt Lake City dentist has an expectation of seeing things related to dentistry in Salt Lake City, or finding a dentist in Salt Lake. So as far as ranking videos, you want to put yourself in front of that person who's searching for Salt Lake City dentist, and the video that you want to show them would have to do with some practices that they could go to, or some different deals that are going on locally, those kinds of things. There's a lot of different things that a person who's searching for would want to see. If we're talking specifically about video, then they would want to see a video about dentistry in Salt Lake, things like that, right? And of course, with that whole topic, there's all sorts of things that can be discussed around even just Salt Lake City dentist, and you just keep generating videos about that. That's pretty much it. Like, I mean, is there anything that any of you want to weigh in on about ranking video, earning money that way, specific to Justin's question?
One thing I'll add real quick is I know I've done a few searches and just put in my main keyword and didn't throw up, Denver or wherever I was at the time, and it still pulls up. Like, they know where you're at, and you're going to get local search results first for terms like that. It just usually happens. So I think that's why it's so important when you are optimizing your videos, if you're doing it for local, to throw in that geolocation tag or whatever. Like, let Google know that your video is filmed in Denver or something like that. Then that kind of helps with the whole local side of things.
Good point. All right.
And that's really really
Bill, yeah.
That's really going to become more and more important as the geo-targeting gets more and more powerful over these next couple of months to the next couple of years.
Very good point. Now, in addition to that, like Justin was saying when he talks about paid traffic, I mean, positioning yourself with paid traffic is like just paying to be at the top of the search engine. I see it all the time, especially with YouTube's inventory. You'll do pretty much any search, and you'll get like the most random, like non-relevant ads at the top, just so that YouTube can have some ads in there. Right? Now, I'm sure that those people who are positioned there pay more money, but YouTube's going to put something up instead of nothing, right? So on the same hand, with paid traffic, you're paying to be there, but if you wanted to be found for a certain keyword on YouTube, and you wanted to rank #1, you could actually just pay a few cents per click, probably, Probably these days you're still able to get between 2 and 5 cents per click, right? You can position yourself there, and there you are positioned there at the very, very top, the easiest to see. And if your ad is actually relevant to the keyword, you'll get a lot of clicks through that. And that, it doesn't matter whether it's local or the general online. So. We got a good question here from Austin. I think we can get maybe we can get some suggestions from everyone here. But Austin says, now that the YouTube keyword tool is gone, how do you do your research for your YouTube keywords? David, you unmuted first. What do you got?
Well, I search for two things. Well, I still use Keyword Planner, which is basically Google's way of saying, hey, this is the replacement of the keyword tool, which I thought they changed that like a while ago. I'm not sure how long ago they changed it, but they've made that migration over to the Keyword Planner for quite some time now. What I look at is I basically do my typical search like I would any other keyword research process, and I also use I don't really look for like terms with a ton of organic traffic like you typically would. I also look for questions, because what I'm finding now is that a lot of people are typing in an entire search string. How can I do X to get Y result, right? And you may not get any traffic in the keyword planner saying, 10 people search this a month or 20 people search it. But what I'm finding with local is that a lot of people are searching for a result-based query, and Google may not give you any sort of traffic data on that, but yet we'll still produce a call or two every month because of that search string. So I'm doing a lot of my research just with Keyword Planner, and I'm also using things like Quora if it's a business that I'm searching questions for, or I'll even go to ask.com, and because they have a filter for questions, people asking questions around the web. So that's how I do my keyword research.
Interesting.
Nice. I kind of do mine the same way. I go ahead and use the Google keyword tool, but then I also have a couple keyword tools on the side, and I use those to. I actually have one that pulls suggested, it's just the Google suggested searches. It will you can throw a little star in it, and it will pull all the suggested searches for that particular term, which is pretty cool. You can basically throw a wild card in there, if you will. So I've been using those. Like I used that on one campaign and just compiled massive lists of almost 1,000 keywords for one ad campaign, and which same kind of thing with ranking. I guess you're gonna need keywords, pick the best ones, but yeah, just combination of keyword tools and whatever's out there. There's a lot of cool things you can do to get your keyword tool to either point out pain points, buying questions, all kinds of good stuff like that.
Very cool. Very nice. I'd say one of the biggest things that I do is that I again think about what the end user is going through, and I'll start doing research specifically through Google Plus, and YouTube, because I found that that gives me ideas for keywords. I'll start with something very broad, especially if I don't know much about the topic, and then I'll just start doing searches on Google and YouTube, again, pretending I know nothing about the industry, especially if I don't, and just taking myself through a walk through the marketplace, if you will. That'll give me a lot of ideas for keywords, and then I'll use pretty basic keyword tools like the Google Keyword Planner. And there's another one that's been it's had a bunch of different labels, but the one that I've used recently is called TubeViper X. I think Justin had a better tool than that that he was talking about, but I don't ever like to just start reaching for keywords unless I know a little bit about the marketplace that I'm going into, or at least where the customer's head is at. Like, again, the person who's eventually going to be buying something, I want to know what they're thinking. So taking that virtual walk around the marketplace is really helpful, and also tell me like who I can connect with and who I will be eventually competing with. So things like that will give me a lot of ideas for keywords, and then I'll take some of the keywords that I've found, and then I'll plug them into the keyword tools, and then I'll dive deep into those keywords. Lots of different versions, the plurals and stuff, and whatever topics I can also come up with. So Good call with the keywords. And of course, for those of you who are watching, thank you for asking your questions. I will be monitoring those as well. And looks like Justin's also on top of it, so thank you, Justin. But if you've got any questions or comments, put them in there and let us know. We will be happy to answer them. That question came from Austin. Yes, and Columbia. If you want to watch any of the other episodes, just click on the link where our channel is. Bill, looks like you got something to say.
Yeah, actually, the other one, I don't know how many of you, if you have vidIQ, but if you go to a competitor video, you can see all their keywords, and that'll give you different ideas. It's for YouTube. It's called vidIQ, and you install it on the browser, and then when you go in YouTube on the right-hand side, it will show you the keywords, how many social shares that they've had, everything like that. But what I like is you can see if there might be other keyword ideas that you might not have thought of. Like if you're going after a plumber, in Pittsburgh, you might see plumber in Pittsburgh, best plumber in Pittsburgh, top plumber in Pittsburgh. I mean, there could be a variety of different ideas for keywords that can come off of that. And they may not be the most heavy traffic keywords, but they're going to be the most targeted keywords. There's another guy some of you guys have seen. It's called Six Pack Ads, and if you look him up on YouTube, you can see this guy he spends a ton of money in paid traffic ads for YouTube. I think he spends like $3 million a year or something like that. But if you just look at some of the phraseology that he's using in different keywords, you can apply that to local and national as well.
Nice. I was just showing some of the search results, and then also this vidIQ site also shows that they're YouTube certified. So that's
dude, vidIQ is awesome. It actually pops up in the top right-hand corner of your when you're on YouTube if you have it installed, and like where the ads would go actually, or where that companion banner of an ad would go, and it'll pop up and tell you some good stuff about the videos. I've played around with it. I completely forgot about that.
Not a bad topic. Not a bad topic. Lem, looks like you had something to say.
Nah, I was gonna sneak that in there, but I was like, really? I gotta follow all these guys? But normally what I do is ask questions like you say. I'll take 20 questions if I'm doing a video for a client, a local client, and then I'll narrow it down. And once I've got those questions, I will start trying to dumb them down even more. And I'll probably have like 40 keywords that I'll put up videos for just for those phrases, the questions, and see which one starts to hit. And then I'll go from there, and I'll know which one of my keywords are booming. Now, most people will go after the best or whatever, but I've got a lot of best plumbers that doesn't do anything. People are looking like who has the cheapest plumber, who is an honest plumber in, who has the best sewage, whatever. I mean, those always work for me, so I'm just throwing my 2 cents in there. But yes, vidIQ is awesome. I liked how you mentioned you kind of see what the end user is going to type in. I would never type in best something because I know that we're marketers and that's something that we would use. That's just me, you know what I mean?
Right. Since we're on that topic of the local stuff, has anybody tried to do any video stuff like directed towards a more popular site like Groupon or Living Social? I haven't, but it just popped in my head specific to local. Anybody try to do any deals like that?
I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it worked for me. But I have associated guys in the industry with Angie's List, and I've put up like Angie's List certified whatever, and those videos boomed. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. I think if more video marketers got on top of just like a specific local region or a local angle, they could just kill it. They could just an authority figure like Angie's List or something like that, and leveraging that. I still remember as a kid, after Saturday morning cartoons was Bob Vila. You guys remember that guy? The Sears dude?
Mhm.
Right? So right after that, there would always be this like Saturday late morning sort of let's do some how-to Saturday stuff, and I mean that guy was on TV for years doing that stuff. So you know that how-to market is very open to that and susceptible to having somebody be that next Bob Vila. I'm sure there's other handymen besides him. David, you looks like you got something to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Well, first off, when I think of Bob Vila, I think of Home Improvement, the show.
Right?
So, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. You said it first.
I'm like, oh God, I remember that guy. Anyway, so when it comes to video and the research portion of it, vidIQ is a great tool. I was going to mention with Mike Chang in Six Pack Shortcuts. Basically, what he does, and he's been doing this since the ad platform came out. Prior to that, too, when he had his channel when it first started, any term that came up for something he wanted to rank for, like whether it was how do I get a six-pack or is there a shortcut to getting a six-pack, they're all relevant, right? He went after every single term with a unique video. Every term has its own video. That's why this guy has, I think he said something like he's done over like 20-something thousand videos, because and they're all unique because that's all he does. You don't see him promoting anywhere else online. He only promotes on YouTube, just him. So he'll record video all day long. He'll find new words, or someone on his team, I'm sure, is finding all these terms that they want to rank for, and he's just cranking out the videos for him. And a lot of the videos are the same information, but they're all in different locations. He looks sweatier in other videos than others, or he's flexing in a different way, but they're all the same shit. And he's ranking for this, all these different terms because that's what he's done since the beginning. If he finds 20,000 terms, he's going to make 20,000 videos. And a lot of people locally, at least where I am, in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, if there are 50 terms for a plumber, there's at least one or two plumbers that have been advised by a marketer to make a video for every single plumbing term because they know it works. Now, whether or not they rank for it is completely different. And, I didn't even get around to how I rank for local, but, it's not even that difficult, especially with a spam local term such as plumbing or locksmith or electrician. It's still very easy to rank for those terms. And by the way, people stop going after them because they're not that high ticket. Start going after like doctors and stuff, but that's besides the point. So that's just my thoughts on how you can really just take over a local niche with specific key terms and how to approach it.
Well said.
Speaking of that niche, you're right, David. I mean, that is not even a high-ticket niche. You're only going to get, if you're lucky, $600 a month out of a plumber. And you better be producing some leads because the way their system works, that's just the way it is. Now, the way I can get by doing that is because my plumber charges like $140 to come out just to look at it. So to guarantee, if he has $100 and $40 he's going to just to come out and see, then it's worth for him to pay $600 a month, whatever,
I mean,
toilet.
I was going to say, let me rephrase that then. Only work with like high-end luxury plumbers, like the plumbers who go to mansions and fix a freaking hotel's worth of rooms.
Yes.
Where they can charge $1,000 a visit. That's different. But your average everyday plumber that most people find online, like you said, $600 if you're lucky. Most plumbers that I know, they like to hold on to their, won't even give you more than like $10 a lead because they're terrible salespeople. It's more of an emergency niche. So a lot of people call plumbers just out of necessity versus, a want. It's like, oh, my toilet stopped working, I need to call you, and they'll just call anyone that they could find. So your lead flow could be, up and down at all times. But if you're working with, I don't even know if this is a real type of plumber, but like a concierge plumber, where it's like, I will take care of your golden throne at your mansion, then, then they probably charge a ton of money for them just to show up at your house, and those are the types of people in that industry that you want to work with, but typically your I don't even know what to call them, just like your plumbers, electricians, like all the basic niches. You're going after volume. You're going to need like 20 of them just to make some decent money.
All I can think of were just like plumbing puns and stuff like that. Like I think the best way to get someone's attention as a plumber would to do like play on words, like we make your shit not stink or something like.
Like poopery.
Like exactly, just like poopery. So we have another question here by Austin, and it was kind of a follow up. He started with now that the YouTube keyword tool is gone, what keyword tools would you use? And then he's asking a follow up, and I think this is a good question for everybody, right? Because I was talking about starting with the end user in mind and how I would sort of start that stroll through the marketplace, like I said, just a mental walk through the marketplace. So I asked, give an example of how you would start that research. So I think I'll start, and then we'll kind of go all around the table, because there are keyword tools. But when I first started, I always wondered the same thing. It wasn't until like many months later that I realized that I never really got any like keyword research advice. I just started doing it, and I started asking myself questions about the marketplace, and that's what led me to more and more discoveries about it, right? So I'll go through, and then you guys let me know how you also research. So how I start research, most of the time it comes with an idea. Like I'll be in the shower, and all of a sudden, eureka! And then I'll, of course, get ready, and then run downstairs, and then I'll start doing research, right? It's usually a question, it's some sort of idea, it's a product, something pops into my head, and I start doing research. And again, my brain goes to what the end user would go through. So I don't know, any fancy products caught your eye this weekend, guys? Maybe we can start with something like that. We need some kind of idea. Let's see. I'm sure I have something around my house. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Physical product, right? So this guy right here, this is actually a speaker, right? But it's a Bluetooth speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker, and it's also like you can plug it in to another audio device. So you can plug it in with the 8mm jack, or you can just use Bluetooth. I thought that was amazing. So one thing that if I wanted to either sell this or reproduce it, I would start researching it, and I would start trying to find out who the end user would be for a product like this. So I would start searching for speakers, Bluetooth speaker competition, or not Bluetooth speaker competition, Bluetooth speaker options, and start finding out why somebody would want something like this. And so then I would start Googling it. I would start using Google. I would use YouTube. That's how I would start that particular research. So I kind of stumbled through my example, but does anybody want to start talking about how they would do their own research? How would you start your research, I guess, is the best question.
Well, my whole thing is, if you think like what the customer is. So don't think like a marketer, think like a customer. So what's the thing I'm most likely to type in around that term? So if I'm looking for a plumber, what am I, like Lem said, am I going to type in best? You may. I don't know. I probably would type in plumber reviews, though, because like he said, with the Angie's List stuff, it's just, you don't know who plumber from what plumber is what a plumber, who messes up the plumber, who didn't install the toilet ring correctly, or whatever else. I mean, there could be a lot of different things. But, that's how I would start. And also, like he started to say before, I think it was Zane, you just said that, or Justin, about using the word who. Who is the best plumber in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, example, like stuff like that, or who has the best reviews in Pittsburgh on plumbing, etc., stuff like that. If you type how you would actually talk, it seems to work a lot better, and it's a couple other terms that you could go after as well.
Nice. Very good. David, how would you start? What's an example that you would give of how you'd start researching?
I'm going to use your portable speaker, your Bluetooth speaker. Which, by the way, I just used a related term right there. So
There you go.
what I typically think of, for example, when it comes to Bluetooth speakers, right? I think of, okay, Bluetooth speaker. What is the best Bluetooth speaker? Where can I buy a Bluetooth speaker? And typically, if you're working with a direct supplier of that speaker, you could do that sort of thing, like where can I buy the actual product name, because there are going to be people searching for that, or what is the best Bluetooth speaker online, or something like that. But then I also think, okay, it's called a Bluetooth speaker, but what are some other things that people will call it? Wireless, portable, on the go. And here's another one. What devices connect with product name, right? So if it's a Bluetooth speaker, a lot of people who have Bluetooth headphones, they may think like, oh, I'm looking for a Bluetooth speaker that I could directly connect to my headphones. So now you could start targeting indirectly all the headphones that are Bluetooth that connect to your speaker. Like, and that's how I would approach it, is just looking for relevant terminology to the search. So, you know, Bluetooth, portable, on the go, wireless. But then I also think of other products that may connect with that individual thing. And this is specifically for the speaker. But you could do this in other industries too. Like I'm going to use survival, since I'm doing some stuff in survival. You know, a lot of people are buying with guns, for example. They buy sights, and you know, there's an ACOG site and a red dot site and all these different sites. And what they will want to know is what guns can use that specific site. And now you start targeting all the different guns that work with that site. So it's all related one way or another. I just look for what can connect with that specific product.
Well said. Well said. So, Lem, do you do research? How do you start any kind of research? You were talking about that earlier with some end user type chat, whatnot.
Excuse me. Yes. Typically, I kind of try to really focus on more of how many people are looking at it. Is it something that I would buy, and how does it trigger my emotions? If I feel like it's going to trigger my emotions, I will ask someone else in the household who think they knows everything and say, hey, what do you think about this? Because majority of the people she hangs around are buyers, so that kind of gives me a, you know, option to see if she would actually use this or what they would use, and I will go from there. But I thought the question earlier was, if I was going to buy something, how would we make it better? Am I lost on that, or?
Sure, we can go ahead. I'm not remembering.
I heard you say that earlier, but okay, then that's my 2 cents. Then, you know.
I think we have like 3 questions going.
Yeah, at once. Because I was a little off because, you know, but whatever. Okay.
All right, speaking of questions, let's go to the video and see if we have any questions on there. Justin, you wanted to weigh in?
Yeah, I've got usually whenever I start doing research, I'll go find or go look for forums and see if there are any types of forums, online forums related to, or that target market would actually be on, and just do a little bit of digging around there, see exactly, what are some of the major things people are talking about, what kind of language are they using as well, because a lot of times your keywords can be very, very unique to your target market, depending on what that market is. They probably have certain terms, things like that, like just how doctors have terms for things that you would probably have no idea what those are. You can find a lot of that out just by finding a forum, or even a Facebook group works, or something along those lines, and just kind of see where are these people hanging out, what are they talking like, and what are their, what kind of things interest them and get them going. Which ones are the threads with, which ones have the most responses, and kind of look at the keywords they're using in those titles.
No, I like that point, and I think to that end, also looking at different social media platforms and trying to figure out what kind of audience is a part of that. I foresee happening a lot in the future is a lot of social media type apps. Like Snapchat, it's not really a social media platform, but that's apparently all the rage. There's going to be more and more splintered versions of social media, and I think as marketers we need to look at which platforms have the most potential, and specifically right now one that's coming up that has been a rising star in, I think, a lot of industries is Pinterest, right? So when you look at Pinterest, it's all about pictures and your pin board, and there's a certain amount of traffic that's going there that will be more enticed because content is on Pinterest, and there's even a few people that I'm hearing that's actually driving traffic from Pinterest. But it's a very specific kind of traffic that I think will only duplicate itself. There'll be many more sites in the future. I think we just need to keep an eye on those. Any thoughts on that, guys? Kind of shooting from the hip here.
I have. Go ahead. Who was that? I have found a lot of these different types of organizations are now trying to get users to start promoting like pictures to click on to send to a certain website, and per se to get commissions off of. I've noticed a lot of that because of the power of social media. I've seen like 3 come down the pipe already that looked okay, legit, but I thought to myself, that might not work because now you're probably getting into the arena of big spam social media instead of regular like Pinterest and share. And I don't think these guys realize this, but that's what it's becoming. You invite your friends to a certain platform that's almost like a Facebook or Pinterest, but your whole ideal is just to get them to click and go to a website, and they think that's great. I don't know. I mean, that's just me. That's just what I've noticed, and I don't think it's going to work too well. I mean, I know that's coming down the pipe because they see how powerful social media is right now.
Yeah, good point. Looks like David was going to say something, and then he just disappeared. Right. So at this point, I want to give anybody a chance to chime in if they have any questions. While we may be wrapping up this a little bit early, depending on if we have questions or if somebody wants to chime in here on any of the topics. Like I said, David was going to say something, but then he just disappeared because sometimes David just does that like a ninja.
Maybe he was going to say bye.
Maybe. Austin did say, thanks guys, that really helps. So I'm glad that helped your Oh, David, you're back. Did you have something that you wanted to chime in? Like you were talking and then you were muted, and now you're back.
It's all good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, yeah. I gotta love Hangouts when they want to work. So with Pinterest, really quick, I just got access to the advertising platform once again. So I know for a fact that Pinterest is leading to a ton of traffic for specific niches. It's not for everyone. If you're doing internet marketing and you're trying to go after internet marketers, good luck. It's not going to work. If you have a cooking show, you do interior design, you do anything that a large female audience would want to look at, great. Pinterest is going to work for you because 90% of their network is women. Also, when you think of like mini sites or sites that sort of feed off of the whole video trend, you have Vine and you have Instagram, right? They work largely with video. And what I'm finding is that a lot of these Vine superstars right now, or if that's what you want to call them, they're getting as many subscribers as our YouTubers in a shorter period of time with shorter video. But they're putting the same amount of time and effort into their 6 seconds and 15 seconds versus the people who create 3 to 4 minute videos. And what I'm noticing is that the Viners who are smart are using that audience and moving them to YouTube, because guess where you make most of your money? YouTube. On Vine, the only way you make money is not from views, because your view count could be spammed like hell. What really gets you the money on Vine is direct sponsorship. And on Instagram, good luck getting any sponsors. That shit does not work. Vine is bigger when it comes to getting paid sponsorship and well, legitimate business, whereas on Instagram you could build up this large following and then you can direct sale from like a link in your profile. And I'm noticing that the really smart marketers are using those 3 video platforms cohesively and building up these massive audiences on all 3 platforms, whether it's for a, well, it's mostly for a physical product. Like one of my favorite Instagram accounts is called Flavor God. This guy sells freaking like salt and pepper combination spices and does millions of dollars through Instagram. Just Instagram. So imagine if he incorporated video, he'd probably be doing so much better. But that's all I have to say about using all these platforms.
That is really interesting. I've actually been very fascinated with Vine and wondering how it would be leveraged to make any money, but I think leveraging it to YouTube audience, I mean, hell, just using YouTube as like, this is where my library of Vine videos are, and if you really want, here's a huge, massive playlist of all of them, right? Like,
well, and a lot of the YouTubers, like Timothy De La Ghetto, for example, he uses a lot of those YouTube people that he knows and puts them in his Vines. Now, his Vines aren't as popular as his YouTube stuff because he makes a lot of money from YouTube, but what he's doing is he's doing it in reverse. He's taking YouTube and going to Vine and then coming back. A lot of these Viners are going from Vine straight to YouTube because they're realizing that, yeah, you have 1 million subscribers on Vine, but you're making nothing. You know, the really good Viners are comedians. That's it. They're just comedians. Whereas with Instagram and YouTube, let's say you're a chef and you make a 15-second tutorial on how awesome you created this cake, people are going to go to YouTube and go, I want to know how to make the cake. You know, they're not going to learn it in 15 seconds, and they're not going to get paid on Instagram to do it. But they will get paid if they take them to YouTube and if they buy their ebook or whatever. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do. And with a business audience like us, you know, we have to think which platform works better for us to put most of our attention and which ones are just going to feed people to the platform we truly want to use, which in my case would be more YouTube than Vine. But Instagram could help drive people to YouTube as well.
Very well said. I think that one of the best comments of the show. Yay! I don't have the button for the clappy.
Besides mine.
And besides Justin's, of course. But we do have some more questions that have come in, so we can really end with a bang here, right? Columbia Jones asks, "Is there a max number of videos on a channel before you need to start a new channel?" I don't like, chime in if you have any opinions on this, but if you ask me, like, there's no number that says, okay, now I'm going to make another channel. I think it's more based on topic, right? Like, do you have 2 topics in the same industry that you can talk forever about? Then yeah, probably you need 2 channels. But even if you just have a handful of videos on another channel, it might be worth it. It's like having another domain, if you ask me, another website, if you will. Yeah. David, it looks like, or Justin?
Justin, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like along your point, Zane, like if you have the same industry, different topics, you can always make a channel for each topic and then feature your other channel on your main channel, and just kind of like cross promote that way. But yeah, pretty much what Zane said. It's as long as it's the same topic or something relevant to your audience. Like if you have a dog channel, you're probably not going to want to put a bunch of cat videos on it. I mean, it's just kind of, yeah.
I was just going to mention, you know, a lot of these bigger profiles on YouTube, what they'll do, let's just use the Young Turks, for example. The Young Turks are a massive news network now on not just TV, they're also on YouTube. That's where they got their start. But what they do now is they have like these mini channels where it's like specific reporters, if that's what you want to call them, have their own playlist where it's actually just from their own channel. Or if the entire topic is we're only going to talk about the Middle East, there's literally a whole playlist about just the Middle East. And that's all the videos, right? Or if it's just about North America, everything's in this North America playlist, and you start to find out that it's the same people talking. So what they've done is just created the bigger network channel and then the mini channels, which is just, the playlist itself is actually just videos from another channel they've created. And now you've created this video network versus a blog network. It's a video network of channels just all coming to one and, spreading the wealth, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't think there's any one single way to create, this network, as you put it. I think it's a good way to put it. The more you link videos together and make it easier for Google to crawl and think about, because that's what Google's also thinking about. They're also thinking about the end user. Is this going to be an easy experience for the end user? And the easier you make it for Google to nod and say yes by having very relevant content connected to other very relevant content, then you're always going to be very high in the search engines, and your content will also be very sought after because keywords and ranking all come together with the end user finding you and then wanting to buy your product, right? So that is, I believe, a creative decision that's up to you or you and your client. You get to decide what kind of experience you give the end user so that they'll want to buy something from you. So that again comes back to you. How are you going to entice the end user? And there you go. So next question comes from BJ. It says, when you want to dominate a local niche, is there anybody here who uses the keyword phrase Yelp reviews as one of your tags or keywords? I haven't. David, you're nodding your head, yes?
Yeah, I only use the Yelp tag when I have a customer that wants to focus on Yelp, right? So one of my clients, my former client, he was very heavy with getting people to leave a review of his service on Yelp because Yelp, a lot of people were searching for his business on Yelp. So his main thing was, I'd like to rank for my any terms that come up that have the Yelp review at the end of it, because a lot of people are searching for my business on Yelp. And the same could be said with Angie's List or the Yellow Book or any of those other directories. You can essentially create video and rank for the business name and then Yelp reviews with their own video. So yeah, I'd give it a try, but most of the time you don't see a lot of traffic, and that's intentional because only a select few of people actually search for the Yelp review of that business.
Oh, well said. This one just popped up. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the Hangout toolbox. Usually I can display the comments, but I don't know. The guy, his name is Morris I don't even know how to pronounce. Anyway, Moritz, you fix it, please. Anyway, Ben Yost says, is it better to just make a Hangout and skip the video than promote the Hangout? Not quite sure what you mean there. If I'm gonna,
is he talking about ranking? Is that what it is?
I don't know. He said he just basically asks another question.
Okay.
Said also, what do you think about uploading a video to YouTube Live and then promote it as opposed to just a video?
Lem, I think he's talking about like the 3 different types of video: a regular video, a Hangout, and then the YouTube Live format.
That's what I thought he was kind of asking. I mean, I know sometimes I ask questions and I don't fully get my whole point in.
Okay.
But as far as ranking, I mean, you can go ahead and try to do both. But as we all know, I mean, David and Bill and everyone on here, a Hangout will probably rank faster than a normal video, depending on how you monetize it and how much work you want to put into it.
Yeah, Yeah. And Ben says yes for ranking. So here's I'm going to say all things being equal, a Hangout will rank better because it's live. Also, like if you schedule it ahead of time, it also has a chance to rank and be ranked pretty well in the space of time from you creating it and you actually going live. As far as a promoted video will always rank higher than like the same video for the same keyword because you're paying for it. It's always going to be up there at the top, right? But it shows as an ad, so there's also people who don't click because it's an ad and only look for the organic listing. So consider that as well. So if you want to rank, if you want to be positioned there number one, a promoted video, you'll just rank, and there you go. But it's because you're paying for it. All things being equal, a Hangout will rank better than a regular YouTube video. But if you're going to put in the effort, David said very well. I would recommend rewinding and going back to what he said. But use all of these elements to your advantage. Don't just use one of them. I would do something like I would create a video and promote that video to push traffic to the live Hangout and say, hey, everybody should come here. And then I would take the Hangout recording and then I would take that recording and then I would push it through YouTube Live. I mean, I wouldn't just use one of them. I would use all of them, but I would use it in a sequence that's going to help me out the most, right? So, Ben, let me know if you understand, and if anybody else wants to chime in to Ben's question and my response. Now's the time.
Yeah, I'll throw something in. When I first started doing the Hangout rankings, which was last year, I guess when everyone started to really focus on it, what I realized is that it ranks incredibly fast, but they also have a very fast drop-off rate if you do it wrong. So you can rank really quickly, and then a week later it never comes back. Then you have the people who it ranks really quick, goes away for a week, and then reappears, and you're like, what the hell just happened? At least with my regular videos, and by regular I mean I uploaded it myself, and I took the time to set it up. The drop-off rate on those is like maybe 5% of my videos have ever dropped off. Like when I rank my regular videos, they stick for a very long time, unless someone just decides to come in there and be a douche and try to knock me out the way. But my Hangouts, like right now, I dominate an entire county that I don't even live in with Hangouts, and they still rank because nobody's going after it. But when I was doing like product names and stuff, and I did Hangouts, they ranked really fast and they dropped off. When I did a regular video, I had a regular video ranked for a key term for 4 years for a product, and I was just getting commissions. I'm still getting commissions, and it's because I set it up once, I did my SEO process, and I stopped. And the more you overdo it, the quicker your stuff's going to just disappear. So use a combination of these 3 video types, and I say 3 because I feel Hangouts and YouTube Live are sort of, they work together, but they're also kind of separate. You could do one of each and then just see how they perform against each other. You can almost target the same term with all 3 types and just see which one performs better for you. And just keep doing those.
Yeah. Very, very good point. Columbia snuck in one more question. She says, when you upload to YouTube Live, do you need to remove the Hangout or just leave it all up there? Not quite sure what you mean. I think, do you, like when you say, do you need to remove the Hangout?
She's probably asking if it's a duplicate video. If you're using the same video and you, like say you made the video as a Hangout and then you stream it through YouTube Live like you were talking about, technically it's a different video as long as you make it a different length. At least that's what I've found. I've made, 12 Hangouts that were exactly the same, but I just read the script, 12 different times, and they were all kind of different lengths, and they all stayed up there. I even had the same video on the first page for a couple different, or the same video sort of for the same term. I had my video up on the first page like 4 times basically.
Right. Okay. Now now that I read the question and your response, that makes more sense. So, yep. Okay. She said yes, duplicate. So, excellent. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. So let's get final thoughts from everybody, starting with Mr. Bill Walsh. Bill, final thoughts on the episode, some things we talked about, etc.
Guys, thanks for watching, and we're excited to take you to the next level, and we've had a ton of fun. That's what we do. I hope we answered it. If there's any more questions, throw them in now. So.
Nice, well said. David, final thoughts before we go.
I suggest giving a chance to Pinterest pins. I've told this to Bill before. I have videos that rank just solely based off Pinterest pins, and that's it. And I've outranked people who've done like 20,000 link blasts with like 100 pins. So if you're not doing any sort of Pinterest pins on your videos, and I'm just strictly talking about that, especially with local, you're missing out on a huge boat. Now, don't go out there and start spamming like everyone else does when they discover a new strategy, but give it a try and let me know what happens. It's basically like having someone embed your video on a site, except it's within a social network where stuff can get shared a bunch of times over, and they could still view your video within Pinterest. So give that a try and let me know how it goes.
I need to give it a shot. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, it's sick.
Cool. Lem, final thoughts.
Take action. I know we talk about giving y'all different types of ideas, but you got to start, testing. I mean, you're going to have some videos or whatever you're doing. They're going to work. Some are going to fail, but just keep doing it.
Excellent. Justin, final thoughts.
I was just going to say you can also use Pinterest to find good things to cook for dinner. But actually, I called my girlfriend the other day. I was like, what should I cook for dinner? I'm going to the store. She sent me a Pinterest recipe. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Just basically along the lines of video SEO, just try a few different things. Just get out there. It's not really going to cost you anything to get your video ranked. It's just all about kind of playing around with it, see what works for you and what doesn't. There's a lot more than one way to get your video to show up, and it all starts with just trying.
Agreed. So, final thoughts for me. Yeah, get out there and do it. I hate being last. I sound like I'm just copying everybody else. Okay. Get out there and do it. Try the different areas. I like David's idea with the Vine and Instagram. I have not tried enough outside of YouTube. I think I need to do more of that. But I would also urge everybody to think about the different elements of YouTube, YouTube Hangouts, YouTube Live, and then promoted videos, and then using them to your advantage, because all of them will help you rank. But then if you take that and then you look for platforms that your audience will like, right? If you have a product that appeals to women, Pinterest is a fantastic website to go through. We've heard a lot of suggestions about Pinterest, but I think taking that to the next level and seeing if there are sites like Pinterest for your audience. Maybe it's just a forum, maybe it's a Facebook group, but finding that place where your audience likes to gather together, that'll give you a lot of really good ideas. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being a part of the 5 Stars of Video. We have a solid, growing live audience. So, thank you for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Again, if I had the button at my disposal, would have already clicked the clappy button. But yay! Getting a lot of great comments. Columbia says, great, thank you. Ben Yost, thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Keep your eyes on the YouTube channel here, and subscribe if you haven't already, because as we upload new videos beyond just these Hangouts, you will be notified first and foremost, and we've got lots of plans for new content. Be sure to subscribe and share with your family and friends. And yes, there we go. I think we've got Bill on the shock jockey. Okay. So again, share the show with anybody that you think you like. Of course, leave questions and comments so that we can use them for future episodes. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. And before we go, let's just have everybody say turn off your mics and say goodbye, and then we'll end the broadcast. So
bye for now. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Peace.
Dude. Bye.